Hi Mandy, it's nice to see you. Thanks for coming and accepting to talk to me about your great background and your business right now. I think it will be very inspirational for my audience.
Thank you very
So
much.
could you introduce yourself in a few words?
Yes, of course. So my name is Mandy Bronsil. I'm originally Dutch. I never lived there. I grew up in the south of Spain, and then I moved to Switzerland to come and study here at the hotel school in Lausanne, and obviously I liked it very much. I'm back now for 10 years, and these past 10 years I've been working in recruitment and in executive search. I founded my own company called Be Inspired at the beginning of this year.
So what was the trigger point for you when you said, I want to start my own business?
Yeah, so from my experience I've realized that I love people, I love working in recruitment, so that wasn't necessarily the issue. But the processes are often quite traditional, not very time efficient, and not very flexible. And they didn't necessarily allow for this optimal match to be made between a company culture and personal values. So what I'm doing with Be Inspired is I'm developing a speed recruitment process to overcome this, to really be able to make that match and to gain in efficiency and in flexibility for the speed recruitment process. In parallel, I'm now also working with candidates that are at transition points in their career to really identify what are those personal values and what is their career goal with a so-called career roadmap based on the Insights Discovery Assessment.
I think it's very interesting. Everyone needs to know more about themselves to be successful in general. And sometimes in school we don't learn this, to learn how to know what makes us happy, and that indeed will turn into finding our purpose and our true mission.
Yeah.
So in my view, expats sometimes have a hard time with the recruitment process in Switzerland. Is there any tips that you could give to improve this process to apply for work in Switzerland?
Yes, so the number one tip that I can really give, and I don't think this is exclusive to Switzerland, but it might be more pronounced here, is prepare. Know where you're going, know what position you're applying to. Has the company been in the news? What do they do specifically? Who are you meeting? Why do you want to go for an interview with this company? Just know what you are there for. Because getting through the CV selection process is not that easy. So when you do get through it, make the most of this opportunity. That's the one thing. I have another tip which is maybe more specific to the recruitment industry here, and that's the fact that they tend to ask quite personal questions. That's the way it is. You can like it or not, but it's not surprising for somebody here to be asked, do you have children? Or how long are you intending on staying in Switzerland? Now, the best advice I can give to this is just prepare to answer those questions. Answer them naturally and honestly, and everybody will move on. The issue comes when people get defensive and think, oh, why do I need to answer that? What does that have to do with anything? But at the end of the day, it's like buying a house. When you buy a house, you look at everything. You don't just look at the house with your blinkers on. You look at, is there a school around? Is there a shopping area around? Is it far from the train station? And that's the way they recruit here.
Exactly. I think it's a very good point that you're making, because people get caught up sometimes a little bit in the moment because it's not a very traditional question, but if you look back and you prepared, again, it goes back to when I train candidates on interviewing skills, I train them about all cases, scenarios, and then you're prepared to answer in the right way, and you're not afraid or shocked or anything like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of your experience, what are some of the key skills that are in demand in Switzerland the most?
Yeah. So I think it's probably important to differentiate between hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills, there's clearly a scarcity of specified IT knowledge, engineers, because an engineer can be an engineer in a large variety of things, and so really very specific engineering skills. In the construction and in the real estate business, there's a lot of areas as well where there's simply not enough candidates to fill the demand of the companies. When we're looking at soft skills, obviously agility is an important one, adaptability, but I would also say honesty and reliability are extremely valued here. People want to know that the person in front of them is telling them the truth, and that they know themselves and they're not trying to oversell themselves. If during an interview you find yourself saying, yes, no problem, a lot, stop and ask yourself, first of all, Is it true? Can you really make that all happen? And are you coming across as reliable? Because it probably doesn't sound very realistic to the person. So if it is true, make sure the person in front of you knows why it's true.
Again, authenticity, I guess, is the key word, and I use that also during the application process. Own your resume, basically, and you can explain everything as long as it's true and it's authentic. It's much better than trying to be the perfect resume and try to make it up, basically, and do things in disguise.
Exactly.
What, in your view, is the typical industries that are exclusively hiring in the hidden market?
So the hidden market is a phenomenon that people love to talk about here, and it refers to the fact that, for example, out of every 10 jobs, only 3 will be published through traditional means, meaning websites or LinkedIn or JobUp, and those roles are the ones that the entire candidates looking for jobs are jumping on. But 7 of these 10 we never even see pass. So this is a little bit what we mean of the hidden job market. And it does exist. You need to be a bit creative in your job search, but that's just the way it is. As for roles that go exclusively through these channels, I don't think there's any that really go exclusively through it. But clearly, roles are like a pyramid, and when you're looking at the top, you're looking at the CEO, CFO, board member functions. Often you won't really see these pass by, because sometimes for companies it's a problem with confidentiality or for imaging, or they simply know it's very difficult to find, so they won't even spend 6 months looking through a job ad or publishing it on LinkedIn, because they know that that's not how they're going to find their candidate. So they'll go straight through recruitment agencies or networks that will then do the recruiting for them. So I would say non-exclusively. The higher up the pyramid, the more probable you need to network more and look otherwise.
Yeah, basically those jobs will be published online more than likely when you get to CEO, CFO, things like that. So any last advice or inspiration for people watching this channel about their Swiss job search?
Yeah, the Swiss job search. So I think what's really important is to have the interview as a two-way process. Sometimes this is forgotten, and people will go to an interview and say, oh, I hope I get the job, and they spend the interview convincing the company that they're the perfect person. But are they really? So here you need to have a good knowledge of yourself, you need to be quite self-aware as well, and you need to go through the interview process and also assure that you have the answer to the questions that will allow you to make a decision. Is this really the job of your dreams too? So you need to have a discussion, you need to go into it and position yourself clearly, and for this you really need to know what you want in the first place. And this is really one of the main reasons that I developed this career roadmap, because I realized that people don't necessarily always know very clearly where they're going and why they want to go there. So it's important to have an idea of this and to work on your own vision for your career before you start going on lots of interviews and just hoping that they take you. Because if you're not clear, the person in front of you won't be very clear either. I've had a lot of feedbacks from clients after interviews saying, well, it was a really nice person, but we don't know what they want. And that's just terribly frustrating.
Yeah, and I think this process is going to make it painful in the long run, because if the candidate is not happy, then that means they have to look for another job, which is not always easy. And then for the company, it's going through another search, which is also a little bit painful. So in the end, it doesn't serve anybody. And that's what I think the message I will leave with this video is, that it's not going to serve you to actually want to be hired just for the sake of it, because in the end, you'll probably suffer through it or have to go for another job, etc. So it's better to take a little bit longer, but find the job that fits you. That would be my idea of it as well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, it was very nice talking to you, very insightful.
Thank you
to speak with you.
It was a pleasure.
Many great tips, of course. And, well, I hope to talk to you soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much.